Hey guys, I'm the Teen here, and I am on a special road, so you should, even if you don't like what I'm talking about, you should hang out for the scenery. I'm giving a day tour to a new guest, and I also have an older guest along for the ride. I had on the tour 2-3 years ago where I had my bad crash. The guy who's following me, he was on that tour. He was on the tour where I broke both my legs. And yeah, it's just funny because the fact that I was giving a tour when I broke both my legs is the funny bit there. And it's interesting, his story is, so he did my tour, I broke both my legs, he came back, he could, whoa, that's a huge fucking snake. This big, hold on a second. Did you see that?
Snake, man,
yeah.
That was wicked.
Did you see the snake?
Yeah.
It's
still alive.
Yeah,
Looked like the head was still
half alive, maybe? I couldn't tell.
We should kill it then.
Maybe.
Probably.
Oh, poor baby. It got ran over. Yeah. Its skin got. It's.
You don't have a knife, eh?
I don't really have anything to.
I have a baton. A good rock would work. Show me. Oh, I don't know. But the question is, can it be?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pointing. He didn't even look. I couldn't be more. I have a friend of mine online who's a snake expert. I could ask, because is there, I would hate to kill it and then find out there was a possibility it could
survive.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that poor thing's in. Poisonous or not, still get you.
I don't know if it's poisonous or not.
It's a big snake.
It's got ants on it, the poor baby.
Yeah, it's gonna die for sure.
Okay. What's my...
Like in Vietnam, that'd be picked up and eaten, right? That'd be
Well,
dinner.
they would eat it here too.
Yeah. I had some the other day actually.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's 11 o'clock at night. So I got a snake expert on here. Let me contact them.
Hey, what should I do with this?
The guts are all out.
Is the guts out or is it just the skin?
No,
I think that's a
guts are
pile
out
of
there.
guts. Yeah.
Oh, guts are out. Yeah, guts are out. It's gone if the guts are out. Like if it was just the skin, maybe with time it could heal up.
Yeah.
But with the guts out like that.
Yeah, no.
So would either of you a farmer?
I mean, I need a shovel. You know?
Just take the head off, right?
Okay, so I don't know if the rain is connected to the fact that we just killed a beautiful creature, but yeah, it just started to rain right after. It was starting to sprinkle before we found the snake. But yeah, we put it out. I thought it was just some skin missing off of it, but it wasn't. Its intestines were hanging outside of its body. It had blood in its mouth. It was very definitely dying, and it was going to take a while to do it. So we did end up putting it down. And by we, I mean one of them. I went and found the rock. I had to go find something to do it with. Yeah. So what was I was explaining about. Normally I've seen, you get big snakes on the road pretty commonly, and I see them and I avoid them. So I guess someone just didn't notice that snake, or it was moving too quickly and went under a car or something. This is sad. Yeah, up in the mountains it's gonna end up raining harder. We're gonna be soaked. It's gonna be funny. Yeah, so okay. So the guy in the back, his name's Alex. Alex came on my tour. I broke both my legs. He continued the tour without me. One of the guys on the tour had done my tour before, and he was familiar with it, so I put him in charge, and I gave him my GPS, so the tour they did was still mostly my tour, and he even without me, he had a good enough time that he came back the very next year and brought a couple of his friends, and then they toured Taiwan, doing like a makeshift version of my tour, and then the year after that, one of the guys that he brought with him to do the makeshift tour moved here. It's funny because every person that comes here just kind of falls in love with it. Speaking of which, one of these guys was in Japan just recently, and he's like, yeah, Japan does not, it's cool and all, but it just doesn't compare to Taiwan. Taiwan is better than Japan. One of the reasons people like Japan is because they're so polite there. You know, they bow and they greet you and they're always smiling and they thank you. But do you think that's real? Do you think they're all really that happy on the inside? No, it's just it's like a rule, you know. You in America, when you meet someone, you shake their hand, whether you're in a good mood or a bad mood. In Japan, you smile, you bow, you say thank you, you say please, whether you're in a good mood or a bad mood. So it doesn't matter, even if it's someone you hate, even if you're racist and you hate all white people, you're still going to smile, bow, and welcome them. So while everyone's polite, it's kind of fake isn't really the right word. It's just it's cultural. It's not happiness. It's not even technically politeness. It's just part of their culture that's the way they have to behave. So yeah, and in a very short time in Japan, you'll figure that out, because someone will be all nice to you and polite, and you'll think, oh wow, hey, this person maybe wants to be my friend. So you start trying to talk to them, and then they're like, you know, go away now. You know, it's kind of like the attractive girl selling beer at a bar. She does not want to be hit on. Just because she's smiling at you and pretending like she's interested in your life story, she doesn't want to give you her phone number. And I've seen that before. I've seen that beautiful bartender. I remember in Canada once there was this one bartender, and she was just earth-shatteringly beautiful. And there was this guy who was kind of good look. He was good looking, but he wasn't on her level. Like she was an 11 out of 10, and he was a 8 out of 10. So he was very good looking, but not on her level. And he was a bit drunk, and he just kept trying to hit on her, and you could just see her like rolling her eyes and ignoring him. Like all of her body language was just screaming, "Get away from me!" And this guy just couldn't get the hint. And geez, we're so off topic now, aren't we? Anyways, yeah. So that's how I liken Japanese people too. They're people who work in the service industry and are forced to be polite due to either their job or their culture. But that doesn't, you know. And in Taiwan, people are also very polite, but it's not a cultural thing. They're actually nice. They're happy to meet you. They love. For the most part, they like foreigners. Like they'll treat foreigners better than they would their own countrymen, which is, as I mentioned before, is the exact opposite of China. In China, they consider themselves superior, like to a genetic kind of Nazi level, to all other countries and all other people. If you go to a restaurant in China, they'll have 2 menus, one for the locals and one for foreigners, and the foreigners, the prices will be doubled or tripled. I have so many stories about that. I know a story where a guy went to a store, an American guy went to a store in China, and he wanted to buy something, and the price tag was on it, and the guy's like, no, that price tag is wrong, it's actually triple that amount. And the dude's like, come on, man, I'm not paying triple, I want to pay this price, the actual price. And the guy's like, nope, sorry, you don't like it, get the fuck out. So he left, and then he found a local to go in and buy it for him. So the local went back to the store, bought it for him, carries it out to him. He's waiting down the street for the guy. The shop owner was suspicious that somebody came in and bought the same thing that he was looking at only a short time before. Oh God, sorry guys, the camera was pointing in the wrong direction. So the shop owner followed the local, saw him handing it over to the American, and then came at them both with a machete, screaming and calling the Chinese guy a traitor and trying to attack them both with a machete, and they had to run. So, like, where do you want to visit? Taiwan, where they appreciate tourists, and they'll even in Taiwan, Many times I've bought something in Taiwan, and the person selling it just looks at me like, I'm like, how much is this? Oh, it's 100 Taiwan dollars. Okay, here's 100 Taiwan dollars. Well, you're a guest in our country, so I'll give you a discount. It's only 80. Keeping in mind, I've already paid for it. I've already given them the 100 that they asked for, and then they say, oh, well, I'll knock it down since you're a guest in our country. That's how Taiwanese treat foreigners in comparison to China, where they literally will triple the price on something and then attack you with a machete.